Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage SteveOfWarr.
I think you're a bit late.
Okay, so Steve, welcome to Quad. How does it feel to be in Derby?
I mean, I'm here. It feels nice, comfy.
Good seats?
Yeah,
That's
relatively.
Well, that's what we try. We try to do it. Very warm.
But no, it feels great. Honestly, it feels really nice to sort of finally make the pilgrimage that everyone else, I'm sure, here has made dozens of times to where it all began. I feel new to the scene. I've only really been a part of this community like in this capacity for the last 5 years. So being able to finally go up and see Lara Croft Way, see the stars, sort of be in the place where it all started is amazing. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I think we'll touch on that then. So you are relatively new to the world of Tomb Raider, really, in terms of like the video. So what was that inspiration for that first Tomb Raider video?
So I work at a university. I work in an IT department. And one night they offered me the opportunity to basically work overtime to support this awards ceremony event. They call it the New Media Awards. Loads of people from different parts of the gaming industry come in, they give awards, they give talks. And I said yes. So I went there and I was doing the IT tech for the evening. And then all of a sudden I find out that Adrian Smith from Core Design was there. He was giving a talk about Tomb Raider. And I'd already had the idea in my head that I wanted to do this series because I'd seen online that there is some Tomb Raider like content that was quite nice, but I wanted to try and do something that really paid like a tribute to the series as a whole, to really kind of encapsulate and bring some of that love back again in a major way. I wanted to sort of, because I hadn't played all of the games growing up, like all of you lot here probably have multiple times. So I used this as an opportunity to not only cover the games, but also play them for the first time and see what my genuine reactions were. But I saw Adrian Smith. I got chatting to him afterwards. I got a bit cocky and asked him, do you know what, if I got a pen and paper and a camera and some questions, would you mind if I went to your local game studio, because he does a mobile game studio now in Bournemouth. Would you mind if I interviewed you? And he was like, yeah, sure. Gave me a business card and everything else. Went to his studio a couple of weeks later.
Wow.
So that Adrian Smith interview that you might have seen on my channel was actually one of the very first things I ever did for Tomb Raider stuff. And from then on, it kind of kick-started me to be like, do you know what, I'm actually going to make a good go of this and see if I can do it. And that's when I started doing it.
And what was it about Tomb Raider? Because, you know, there's so many games out there. Were you play the games when you were younger? Did you have a family member do it? Or was it just something this could be a really good series?
No, do you know what? I actually did play them when I was younger. I remember one of the first games I got on my PlayStation was Tomb Raider 1. And I remember, even at the time, just being completely blown away by it. Because there wasn't anything out there at the time. The atmosphere was just, you could soak it all in. It was so spooky. It was so immersive for the time compared to games like Mario or Sonic or Crash Bandicoot, who had different tones. This was something that was truly unique. And that sort of grips me. And I played 2. I didn't get a chance to play Tomb Raider 2. So the next one I had was Tomb Raider 3 when it came out. And then afterwards, I kind of didn't really join the series again until when Anniversary came out. And that's when I kind of dipped back into it. Don't know why I took so much of a break from it. I played demos here and there of the other Core Design games. But that's when I kind of started dipping back into it again. And I've always been curious about all these games because I always see people talk about these games with such passion and such love. And I'm like, what have I missed out on? You know, what have I missed out on? So I wanted to experience it for myself so I could understand where you lot were coming from. So that was another kind of motivation for me to do this series.
Yeah, it is interesting because it's like my first experience of Tomb Raider was watching my dad play it because it was everyone had Tomb Raider, the first one, and it used to be like a thing they'd do at the pub. So they'd play Tomb Raider, go to the pub and be like, where are you up to now? And it became this competition of who could beat the game. And that happened all the way up to Angel of Darkness, really. And then my sort of interest sort of waned a little bit there because it was like, well, you know, Dad's not playing it anymore. I'll play Pokemon. I'm sorry. And it was actually Kat, who's sitting in the audience, an old friend of mine. She was playing Anniversary. It was on an Xbox or something. And played through that. And again, my girlfriend Nikki, you sort of get to the Crystal reboot era and stuff. So we've all got those, I guess, stories of how we found Tomb Raider. We actually played it, so that just shows how old you are, I guess. So
thanks.
In terms of your, you're welcome. In terms of your content, some other YouTubers, they take the easy route with some of the Tomb Raider games. So Angel of Darkness, for example, they take the cheap shots. They go, this is a rubbish game, and they don't really talk about it. They don't really look at the actual content which is there. But yours is quite a different take. You're actually quite in depth.
And I did that on purpose because I keep seeing people like the Angry Video Game Nerd, Professor Juice, I think her name was. Game Statistic is another big sort of name that I think some people might have seen his videos on YouTube before. He's gone through all of the recently released a Shadow of the Tomb Raider video. It was 3 hours long. And I kept seeing the same narrative being told. But when I looked at other places, I saw a different story. I saw fan art, I saw love, I saw appreciation, I saw all of these people that were so enamored with what the general public considers to be trash and found something really worth holding on to and adoring and loving. And I wanted to see that. And I knew that going into Angel of Darkness is going to be a difficult one because I wanted to make sure that I gave an honest critique, an honest viewpoint of it. But I also wanted to try and break away from the purely negative side of things and talk about the positives, highlight them, make people aware of them, that it wasn't necessarily designed to be a pile of shit from the beginning.
In a nice way.
It was something that somehow, just through a series of unfortunate events, just ended up the way it was. And the story behind it was really interesting. And there's still stuff that's being uncovered to this day, which I find absolutely fascinating. And there's still people out there that are putting patches together to fix this on the PC especially. So that's the side that kind of intrigued me as well. And I wanted to show that off too.
Yeah, and I guess when you are making videos, choosing formats gets trickier as you go on, because in your most recent video, you mentioned how the Wii version of Anniversary is a whole different beast in itself.
Yeah, that was weird. I'm definitely going to be... I've decided to cover that in a separate video because it's so bizarre that it needs to be dedicated to its own video, because you've got sand puzzles. Like you go to certain parts of the wall where you'd normally have a switch to pull, and all of a sudden you've got cylinder blocks that you'd have to use the motion controls to move about and stuff. And there's like a unique room in Croft Manor or something. So it was just something I think, do you know what, it's too fabulous and too weird for it to have to be just relegated to a passing mention. I need to give it its own kind of video, and that's the sort of thing that will be coming. I'm planning on doing a video to talk about the weird and wonderful ports of all the different Tomb Raider games. So one of them is going to be obviously the Wii version of Anniversary, and the other one's going to be touching upon the PS2 version of Underworld, which is an absolute train wreck from what I've heard from everyone saying. So I'm very much looking forward to that. As someone who enjoys the Wicker Man remake with Nicolas Cage, I can sometimes ironically enjoy bad things. So there we go.
So we're about to watch one of your films. Call them films.
Might as well be. It's feature length. It's getting there.
Yeah, they are epic. So before we start, is there anything you want to say? Because we are watching the Angel of Darkness video.
Yes. So I want to say that to everyone who has seen this video before, obviously a big thank you. It truly means the world to have the support of everyone here.
Steve.
Thank you. But I thought for this particular show, I'd do something a bit different. So it's going to be the Angel of Darkness video, but it's not going to be the same version that you get to see on YouTube. So everyone here is going to see a unique version, exclusive. So you're going to see something that's not anyone else has access to, which I'm really pleased with. Oh, and also, just to put this out there, I do drop a couple of naughty words here and there, which some of you already know about. So just giving you a fair warning, there might be some cussing. So there we go. Yeah. But I really hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, we'll be coming back on afterwards to talk a little bit more, and we'll throw out some questions to you all as well. But for now, let's enjoy the Angel of Darkness video. So do you want to tell people about some of those additional extras you added in there?
So, voice cracked a little bit there, sorry. Very emotional. Something is going to happen. Something that I've just teased there. And it's something that I'm hoping that people are looking forward to who follow the series. And it's going to be something to hint towards where the retrospective is going to end. And like Crystal Dynamics and IDOS are trying to unify the series, I'm trying to as well. So I am doing something to basically hint. That there was a teaser to basically hint towards there's some greater things afoot that I'm really looking forward to showing you guys when it comes out. So I hope you're all excited. I'm just very emotional right now because seeing something up there that I've made and watching you guys react to it and stuff, I couldn't ask for anything more. This is just a huge opportunity, and I'm so grateful to every single one of you for being here. Thank you. I love you guys too, honestly. Thank you for giving me
let's give another one. So, I think what we'll do, we'll go straight into some questions, give you a moment.
Yeah,
I'll go and get my microphone, do my run again.
Yeah, go for it. Anybody know any jokes?
Just check.
Hello?
There we go. That's good. Right, let me get out of here. Questions? I've got one over there. Okay.
Go for it.
Hi, Steve. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Just a quick one. Did you actually get Shelley to do the intro for you?
That was actually Shelley Blonde herself that did the
And
voiceover for the intro.
How did you get her to do that? How did you?
So I got in contact with her through Tomb of Ash, who is with us today. And I've also been in contact with Jonelle Elliott as well. And I sent her some lines through Ash, and she basically sent that back to me within 10 minutes. She has a home studio. She basically records her stuff for adverts in a cupboard that she's soundproofed and made her own studio. And she sent me these, I sent her the lines, she sent them back to me, all recorded. Blown away that she was able to let me do that. So yeah, that was actually Shelley, yes, it was. Who else?
Hi, Steve.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. First of all, try not to get emotional like you did.
Oh, bless you.
Obviously, we've spoke before, and you've been a huge inspiration to me throughout my mental health depleting over the last few months. So I just want a massive thank you to you. So, how does it feel knowing that you've had such a big impact on Tomb Raider fans and been an inspiration to some?
I still don't feel like I do. I've had a lot of what I guess some people can call imposter syndrome, where I've not felt myself to be worthy or good at what I do and worthy of the attention. So having people like yourself and other people here as well, sort of me happy to sit through an hour's worth of Angels of Darkness with me rambling about it, it really means a lot because it helps my mental health. It helps me feel like I'm doing something with myself, with my life. And I have to say, whilst we were watching that, I did get a bit emotional because this was kind of like a turning point for me, it felt like, because it feels like ever since I've been on this journey with Tomb Raider, with the community, with everyone here, my life has just gotten better. And I've gotten to know some fantastic people, which I'm very grateful for them to even give me the time of day. And it's kind of reinforced me that I'm actually worth a damn. So hearing that my stupid stuff on the internet is able to inspire somebody to feel better about themselves is amazing. So thank you very much for sharing that. It means, honestly, a lot. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, Steve.
Where are we? Over there.
Yeah, hello. What would you say would be your favourite retrospective you've made? Which one's your favourite?
That one.
Yeah, that one.
Hands down.
I love it.
Hands down. Because I love the reaction that I've gotten from everyone who's watched it. I love the work that I've managed to put off in it. I really hope you enjoyed all the extra stuff as well that I put in it too. And I hope people are kind of excited and anticipating what's going to come next, because I've got some plans. But it's just that out of anything that I have made, I am most proud of that, because I know that has done you guys a solid, hopefully. And it's also like, I think it's my best work still.
I think it's brilliant. Well done.
Thank you so much.
Lots of love.
Thank you. Thank you.
Of course, you're at the other side of the theatre. I'll get there.
Some kind of like elevator music or something.
Oh, yeah.
I've got extreme dry mouth at the moment. You have no idea, so just forgive me for that.
Yeah, my legs feel stronger now.
Hi, Steve.
Hello.
This is more of a praise than a question, to be honest, because I can't think of anything to ask. My heart is pounding at Cal.
Okay.
So you, Chris, Ash, and a whole plethora of people have really done a credit to this whole Tomb Raider community with all these projects, all the even people who didn't do like custom levels, or Nika Bass's project, for example.
I love the custom levels.
The anniversary edition. It's just you don't see a lot of that in a lot of franchises. So honestly, I think you should all be incredibly proud of yourselves. I'm lost for words. After seeing those last like 20 seconds, or I mean, sorry.
No, honestly, don't apologise ever. I'll say this to anyone here who's like,
just
gets choked up or whatever. Don't ever apologise for
Angel of
letting emotions come out.
Is an exceptionally emotional, important game for so many of us. Some obviously have adverse opinions of it, but a lot of people like us, we tend to ignore those, and like haters aside, it really. I mean, there's so much people are uncovering for it to this day, and it's created opportunities for everyone, including you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's quite ironic in a lot of ways that the fan community have become raiders themselves of its own franchise. So they're basically digging through the past of the series, about digging through the past to find hidden treasures. I've always found that very fascinating. Very fascinating. Anyway, go on.
Hello, Steve.
Hello.
So my question is, out of all the skits and sketches that you've done in the retrospective, are there any that like you particularly find are your favourites?
Do you know what? I think to this day, I still chuckle at myself at the stupid modern-day Atlantis skit that I did for Tomb Raider 1, where I basically tried to explain, if Atlantis had taken over, what would modern society be like for people that explode on death?
Yeah.
So I essentially I crafted this scenario of like, just imagine if you were going home from work, you had the white picket fence and the whole American dream type thing, and then you just reverse your car off the driveway, run over an Atlantean cat, it dies, you explode. Tragedy. And then the next scenario was like a building site, someone gets distracted by a hot Atlantean piece of ass, I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
And then he basically drops a box on someone else, explodes, the whole building site goes up. And then the last one was actually quite dark, but I quite like the way I went with it, which was basically like you're saying goodbye to your loved one, you're saying, like, trying to hold back the tears of unbridled sorrow on their deathbed at hospital or something like that. And then out of nowhere, as soon as they flatline, just BAM! And then the entire hospital would just explode. Because I just love how much and how ridiculous that would be. Because if those people did legitimately take over our world, they wouldn't be able to rule for about 5 seconds, because you just kill one of them. If they're in a group or something, or a small room, then they just die. Like, explode and kill everyone else. So that's what I liked. I really enjoyed that particular skit. Thank you.
Hey, Steve. Big fan.
Likewise, likewise.
If you're anything like me, after a few months you look back at some of your work and you suddenly think, oh, maybe I would have done something a little bit different there. And along that topic, but kind of like the last question, but flipping it, is there anything from a few years ago that people come up to you now and they're like, oh my God, I absolutely loved X scene or this bit of skit, that you look back on and it just makes your toes curl?
I mean, I think that I make my own toes curl whenever I watch myself back, so that's going to be difficult to narrow it down. To be honest, and this is going to sound really cliche, but I can't honestly think of anything. Because the reason why my stuff takes so long to come out is because I'm always thinking, what can I do to make sure that when I come back to it in about a week's time, or whatever, it's still going to be good and I'm still going to be proud of it. And a lot of people, I get comments occasionally coming up and saying, oh, when's the next anniversary video out? Or when's the Underworld video out? And I really appreciate people are excited for that. But what gets me is just that I'd rather just I'm the person who likes to take their time, make sure that all the finite details with the editing, with the scripting, with everything that I can is as tight of a ship as possible in order for me to go and look back at it and be like, yeah, that's actually not too bad. And the changes that I made to some of the parts, you might have noticed that when I looked up Set the Egyptian God of Chaos on Wikipedia, it came up with Crystal Dynamics' search page results on Google. So that was something I felt I could have done better, because that was admittedly something I threw together at last minute because of my own personal deadlines. And I didn't quite know how to reach the point with the flashback at the end. So that's essentially why I'm so glad I've got this opportunity to do like a director's cut, I guess, to show you guys and give yourselves something special. Hopefully.
It's called the Derby Cut, just for reference. So.
All right, okay. Anybody else?
I think that's all we've got time for questions.
That's a shame.
However, Steve's going to be around, so
yes,
it's worth asking him some questions. But should we just one more round of applause for Steve?